I actually, I don't know. I feel like we definitely don't talk about the boys a lot on here because I don't actively watch the show, but I told you like because it just bothers me. We can get into that since we're talking about it. But yeah, we don't talk about it too often. We talked about it like a few times, so I don't remember you saying that. I thought you liked it. Oh yeah, most people say that the comic isn't that good, but the show is way better. So I'm starting to remember all the other times we talked about the boys, specifically on this podcast, and every time we've talked about it, it was because we were talking about Invincible, and even off podcast, that's also when we talked about the boys, because I yeah, because I was hesitant at first to watch Invincible because I thought it was just gonna be like the boys but animated, but it's nothing like the boys. And then even though like you said the show is different from the comics, even then it's still not really similar at all. And then of course I ended up reading the Invincible comic, all of it, and then like binge the like 6 episodes of Invincible that were out at the time. And since then, like Invincible has become one of my favorite comics. I'm actually currently rereading Invincible because I kind of breezed through it last time, so I'm reading through it again and taking my time this time, taking breaks, so I can actually like hold that information instead of just um, blitzing through it. I'm doing the same thing with Chainsaw Man. But yeah, and the reason I haven't watched a full episode of The Boys yet is because when they were first like we were first just hearing that the show was going to happen, I like read an entire synopsis of the comic. I did the same thing with Invincible and then immediately forgot it all, so it didn't really spoil the comic for me. So I read the entire synopsis of the comic and I was like, this is some messed up stuff. And then I made the mistake of looking up comic book panels and I was like, this is absolutely horrible. Why did I do this to myself? And then proceeded to continue to torture myself by looking up, like not looking up, but when the first trailer for the first season came out, I watched the trailer and I was like, what did I expect? It is just as gross and violent as I was expecting it to be. And here's the thing, though. Me and you have I've said it on this podcast that I'm a kind of a maniac when it comes to like video games and how I like violence. Um, so the fact that the boys' violence bothers me is like that's weird. Here's why. It's because it's their parodies of heroes that I grew up loving, made to be like somewhat grounded and very very evil and dark, and that just disturbed me to the point to where and maybe I've said this on a podcast, but I know I've definitely told you this off podcast. Like I was having like nightmares about Homelander. Like, bruh, that dude scared me. I ended up blocking Anthony Starr on Twitter and Instagram because I just did not want to see that man's face. It was horrifying to me, and it was at one point like I forget. I think like I don't know. I was broke, couldn't pay my phone bill, so I was like using this free phone, and so when I would listen to music at night when I'm going to sleep, I would listen to it on this Kindle, and on Kindles they're constant like in the just the lock screen there are constantly Amazon ads because you know Kindle is Amazon device, so there would be ads for the boys with just Homelander's face on it when I'm going to look at the Kindle at night, and I'm just like this isn't gonna help me sleep. But then slowly over the years, because what the show's been out for about 3 years or so now, or probably more than that, um, my uh, what is it? I guess fear lessened, and my horror of that just lessened, and now I'm okay with it, and I could watch people react to it, like you know, cut up clips from the episode, and to where I could get it, I could understand where the story's going, but not watch it in full, and still sometimes cover my eyes when there's gore. But now I'm getting to the point to where I'm like, the show's really good, and I'm no longer as bothered by it, so I might finally start watching it. But I'm still not fully convinced to watch it just yet. But I'm almost there, and I'm probably gonna end up watching it at some point. Probably once the third season is done, I'll probably finally get to the point like you know what I'm gonna watch it. But I'm caught up with it. I watch people watch it. I listen to the discussions. I have a very like I understand what's happening, but I haven't watched any full episodes. But yeah, that's why I haven't watched The Boys. That it just disturbed me greatly. It was very disturbing for me for a very long time. It's also the subject matter for me.